Sorry, guys. I am still working on this long form Justice League. So the review, going through the comic history and everything, and then we will make sure we get that put out. It's going to be probably my best video to date. You guys are really going to enjoy it, and I can't wait to get it out to you. It's just taking some time. So y'all give me some time. We haven't been doing the show, but we'll get back to it very, very soon. Among other things, we talked about like the comic book stuff that we're going to be doing as well. Really excited about that. Just a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline that you guys have that you can look forward to. One thing at a time, though. We'll get back to it. I want to do a video. This video, kind of updating the resume. Certainly, when it comes to these recent events, I think there's something that people can learn from. Whether you're a creator, whether you're a fan of people, I think there's something that people can learn from when it comes to winning this more cultural war. I think a lot of people now are starting to accept that. It's not just with the Zack Snyder situation. It's with a lot of different things. It's hit pieces that are being ran. People are starting to accept the fact that this is more of a cultural war than anything else. This isn't a battle, it's just straight wit. It's a battle of wits, but not in the sense of, okay, we're leading with factual information. So I want to do this video to teach y'all, if I can, advise a lot of you guys on how to beat these guys and how to win. See, I believe I remain undefeated against these weirdos. I've had so many hit pieces wrote about me. People do these idiotic videos still to this day. Most of them, they do that from afar. It's not like they'll have a conversation with me about anything because they know that's not something that they can win. They're going to be made to look like the dumbasses that they are. But a lot of people are accepting that this is a cultural battle, and this is more of a cultural war than anything else. I've been telling you guys this, even the problems within the political sphere, all of that starts culturally. Politics are the lagging indicator. There may be some couple of nuanced instances where it does go the other way, but for the most part, it's not how it is. Culture is first, and then the politics is just a lagging indicator. But when it comes to ridding, let's say, a lot of this stuff with this cultural, the social justice left, I think that's more so the primary enemy here. They have drawn that line in the sand. It's pretty obvious. I have told y'all time and time again that these people do not care to be fair, honest, honorable, lead with information, facts, logic. That's not what they care to do. They want to win, and they're in the business of winning. So what they will do is whatever it is that they have to do. Lie, cheat, steal, Eddie Guerrero tactics. That's what they'll deploy if they have to do it. See, and you have to understand that if you are going to combat them. So my first form of advice, and this goes to everybody, creator, non-creator, supportive of alternative creators, because I don't think it's just simply going to be coming up with alternatives. I think that's a part of it, but that's not it. It's a part of it, but it's not it. But when it comes to combating these guys, you have to understand first and foremost that the standard that you hold yourself is not one that they ever care to reciprocate. So you can't try to project that onto the enemy, right? So when you're like, I know people man, you rag on these leftists all the time. Why do you think I do that? If they were those types that will respond to just strict fact, logical stuff, that I would do that. That's not how it works. That's not how they operate. That's a standard that we hold ourselves to. So when we talk among ourselves, or the person that may not have gotten the right idea, definitely when it comes to working towards freedom and liberty, a lot of people get led astray on that. But there are some people that may got led astray, maybe one or two of them even leftists. But they got there, let's say, by analyzing logic, rather, being logical about it. Most part, that's not who these guys are. So you can't try to project that onto your enemy. That's a standard that they don't hold at all, and they don't even care to reciprocate. So it's a losing battle when you go into it. And the analogy I always use is like a boxing ring. You're in the boxing ring. Your enemy has laced up their gloves, waited, right? They bought off the judges. They've bought off the refs. And you are just going in there trying to fight honestly and fairly. See, that's not what we're dealing with here. Man, wouldn't it be great if that's what we were dealing with? But that's not what we're dealing with here. That's not who these people are. And they've made that abundantly clear. When you see the hit pieces and stuff and how someone would be willing to tie you to the just the most disrespectful just objectively bad thing, just so they can try to get rid of you, take away your livelihood, strip you away of that. You're seeing that, man. That's a standard that they don't even care to acknowledge, man. So you have to navigate accordingly. You have to. So that's first and foremost. Understand that your enemy is not you. Now, this doesn't mean you have to go play, again, just fight fire with fire, or like you go be an idiot raging social justice left. No. That's not what I'm saying that you have to do. You just have to understand that they aren't to be held to that same standard because they don't care to acknowledge that. The next thing that I think that you have to understand, that you have every right and it's in your power to do this, and that's reject that the premise that a lot of these guys operate on, because they're planning on you getting on the defense because they plan on you approaching it with strictly factual, logical information. That's not how they do it, but they actually benefit from you being as such and them just being idiots. Tell the story all the time. I've told it on many other podcasts. Did a solo video about this here. Remember that one chick? They can't pull the race card on me like the whole white supremacist card on me, so they generally pull something else, sexist, homophobe, or something like that, transphobe. I believe that's the latter was what the chick called me. That we were talking about something else, had nothing to do with that. And so the one that she decided to pull out her behind was the transphobe card. So I'm still continuing to move about because I've understood that this conversation has already it's going where it's gonna go. So I'm just making fun of her at this point. And she says, so you're not gonna address these claims of transphobia? I said, nope. I said, I have no desire to do that. Because I'm under no requirement to acknowledge, or rather defend myself from a dumbass statement. And she malfunctioned on the spot, real time. You could see it. The reason is that they expect you to be on the defense from that false, nonsensical claim that they operate. The only time that can be beneficial, if you're going to like do something which you analyze it honestly and show exactly how stupid it is that they are, that only benefits the people that are maybe more central on this. Again, those a couple of people that may be on that social justice left, or at least adopt leftism, and they just got led astray. And then the people that are already on your side, that's the only people that benefits, for sure. But everybody else, again, definitely the folks that made it abundantly clear that they're your enemy, they don't care about that. They don't care about that at all. Understand that you're well within your right to reject it. You're under no requirement to defend yourself from nonsensical positions that they just made up and pulled out of their behind. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that at all. See, the reason why you do it is because you, again, are operating as if the enemy is honest. You don't have to. Well, first of all, of course, you don't have to do it. You shouldn't do it because that's a losing strategy. That's what they depend on you doing. So reject the premise altogether right out the get-go. Look, I've said that mocking and shaming these morons is something that I think is a valuable thing because that's exactly what they like. You got to understand, they're all emotion. They're not factual by any means. They're all emotional. So you're seeing, right, like what happened recently with the hit pieces that have been ran on some of my colleagues. Obviously, I got thrown into the mix because they're sharing videos with me in it and stuff. Look, they're starting to trip out like that, and they're trying to kind of ramp things up because they realize that the tide is starting to change and people are starting to recognize them for the quacks that it is that they are. So those general strategies aren't working as much, right? So you got to continue to apply pressure. Look, guys, I get it. I'm rough around the edges. I'm an acquired taste. I'm not oblivious to that. But I'm the way that I am because, well, it is me at the end of the day. But also in terms of how I approach them. It's how I got to be. So sometimes you got to be a little cutthroat. You ain't got to low blow them. But you got to watch out for theirs. You got to be a little cutthroat. You ain't talking in the sense of using aggression on anybody, nothing silly like that. What I'm saying is these people, you be alpha with it. And by that can apply to male, female, doesn't matter. Understand that you are the right ones here. They're the ones that are wrong. approach it accordingly. But I'm the way that I am, and I'm unapologetic because that's how you got to be against these guys. And only until that sort of is the approach where people just are unafraid and understand how to navigate, most importantly, will we start to win. I'm undefeated against these weirdos because, again, I reject largely their premises. I have no problem going there, making fun of them and all of that stuff, and they have no power. The tactics simply don't work. So when they sit up here and just pull cards out of their behind, I'm going to apply this, I'm going to apply that, they don't work, and they're ineffective here. You have no power here. That all stuff here, we're gonna call you this, or all that stuff just don't work over here because we don't even accept that premise here, bro. That stuff only works when they try to use those sorts of tactics, right? It only works against themselves and the folks, again, that are just leading everything with facts. So these people that think, oh, we could just outwit them, we could just win the argument. Oh man, those are the oblivious kind. I will say this as well, though. I do think there is, of course, when definitely from an entertainment spot, there is ground to be gained. Man, my allergies are going insane right now, but there's ground to be gained in coming up with alternatives, and you're seeing people starting to do that, which is awesome. I just don't think that. I think it's more of a combination of all those things, and everybody has their kind of role in trying to rid the world, and definitely when it comes from an entertainment perspective, ridding it of all of this nonsense that we have to sit up there and deal with right now. I will give them the social justice left. They're winning. It's just the strategy is starting to get figured out, and a lot more people are understanding that, okay, this is how you kind of got to respond to them. The more people do that, that's how we start winning. So reject their premise altogether, but first and foremost, understand and accept and embrace the fact that your enemy is not you. And when it comes to honest fighting, that's something that they've made it clear they don't care to reciprocate. So if you take that into consideration and then you start navigating and combating them, whether it be right there on the front lines, in the entertainment or in the subculture that you guys are involved in, well, the tide will start to change. We talk about Gina Carano all the time, and I think that may be a turning point in this cultural battle. And what I want you to understand from it, if nothing else, is what it showed in terms of the power that a lot of folks have. People have come to, channels like myself have grown, not just because we're putting out solid content, but it's because the fact that we are highlighting that these folks who, even if they're surrounded by crazy people, these folks feel, and our fans, our supporters feel as if, well, they're not alone in that regard. So they're not the crazy ones, which I know I can understand how that feels. I'm a guy that's not a leftist in the middlecore and the hardcore scene. Trust me. Sometimes it's like, wow, I'm just surrounded by crazy people. But when that happens, people need to understand that, well, the fans, the supporters, the people who just are tired of this bull crap, they're there to catch you. And you saw that what happened with Gina. And I think people need to understand how powerful that actually is. This is why I love the fact that there are alternatives starting to be created. I said, y'all have the capacity to turn her into a superstar among other people. And this was my challenge to you guys. If you just put just slightly a little bit more emphasis, investment, whether it be from a time standpoint, monetary standpoint, into those people that are not like them, but they exist in the same subculture. If you put just a tad bit more, because look, when it comes to these bigger brands, Star Wars, Marvel, DC, you got to wean people off of that, man. Come on. Like these guys have unfortunately taken control of things that have been part of you since you were a child. Right? So I don't expect people to just drop all of it. But in the same respects, if you put just a little bit more into those people that, let's say, aren't going to insult you as a fan, put just a little more into that in comparison to those that just have no business crapping on you. They may use the brands that you grew up supporting, and then they win an award off of, get on an award show and tell you suck. Just put a little more support on the other guys, and you'd be surprised how quickly this tide starts to change. There's a lot of power within the people, and fans are catching these people, which is what I generally appreciate. But you guys have got to understand, we are under no requirement to accept their premise, and you do that by understanding that standard that you hold yourself, all of that honesty and stuff, that's not how they work.
You just watched a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake. Catch us live at 12 p.m. throughout the week over at youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and follow us over at odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. If you want to watch the entire video cast after the show is over, just be sure to become a member on the YouTube channel. Of course, the full audio portion of the podcast is available for free on all major digital platforms, or just visit forcanonsake.com.